What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Yejide, and if it's your first time stopping by, you are most definitely welcome. So on today's episode, I'm going to be showing us how I made this beautiful bodycon dress with this little detail here. So let me step back so you guys can see the full length. This is what it looks like, and this is what the back looks like. Also, it has a slit here. Yeah, so you can style this like you can style this like this also, and you can also style this like. So guys, I also went ahead to make a belt to this dress. So you can see it's folded into two right now, and this is 28 inches long. So this simply means this belt is about 56 inches long. So yeah, I actually made this belt to this dress so I can wear this to work because of that opening, you know, at the front. You know the vibes. And as you can see, oh my god, it looks so pretty with this belt. Yeah. So guys, if this is something you're interested in, let's get right into the video. So guys, this is the material I'm going to be using. So guys, I would advise you to get a material that is crepe, that is a little bit stretchy, you know, so this cloth can, you know, stick to your body. So yeah guys, I'm going to cut out the skirt parts of this dress. So now I'm going to use my hip measurement, 40 divided by 4, that's 10. I added 2 inches. So guys, on fold I have 12 inches. So now guys, the length of this whole dress is going to be 43 inches. Now 43 inches minus 16 inch, which is my half length, I have 27 inches. So now guys, as you can see, I'm gonna have to mark 29 inches. So 27 inches for the lower part of this dress, then the remaining 2 inch is for seam allowance. I hope we got that. So guys, on this first line here, which is my waistline, I'm gonna have to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'm adding 1.5 inches as my sewing allowance. Then from there, I'll come down to mark my hip line, which is 7, and on that line I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4. I've marked it, that's 10. Then I added 1.5 inches, which is my seam allowance. So guys, whatever I have on the hip circumference here, I'm going to subtract 1.5 from it and mark it on the new line. You can see I've gone ahead to mark 10 inches on the new line. So guys, the next thing now is to connect the waist measurement to the hip measurement and to the new measurement. So guys, why the new is very, you know, much more slimmer than the hip is to give this dress a definite shape. You know, you want your dress to have this pencil like shape at the new. Yeah, then I'm just going to cut it out. So this is that for the lower part of the dress. This is the front part, like I said. So guys, I'm going to be using this front part, you know, to cut out the back also. That's the lower part of the back dress. Yeah, so the only difference is that the back is going to have a zipper space, a zipper allowance, right? So guys, on that part that is folded, this part here that's facing me, I'm going to make sure that part is on fold. So that is where I'm going to be putting the zipper. So guys, you can see from the waist, just mark 1.5 inches all the way down. Make sure you have 1.5 inches, which is going to serve as your zipper allowance. Then just cut out the remaining shape from what you have using the front part that you've cut. So yeah, this is the back we are cutting right now. Now the next thing is to slit the part that is folded here, this part here, this center part. You slit it into two because the back is going to have, you know, joining with your zipper, of course. So yeah, I've gone ahead to slit that. Then the next thing I'm just going to do is to notch the zipper allowance part. I'm going to notch this on the waistline. You can see that's what I've gone ahead to do. I'm also going to notch this on the new line so I can know where my zipper allowance is, you know, stopping at when I'm sewing that part. So guys, we are done for the lower part of this dress. So now let's go ahead to cut the upper part. So guys, don't forget that this dress is an off shoulder dress. You know, it's not going to have any shoulder. So yeah, you can see I'm going ahead to fold my fabric into two. It is on fold, and now guys, I'm marking 16 inches, which is my half length. Then don't forget to add seam allowance. So guys, here I have 17 inches. So guys, again, don't forget that this is an off shoulder. So guys, I'm not going to be measuring the whole of my half length. I'm going to be subtracting 4 inches from the chest length. You can see, so starting from 4 inches, that is where I'm going to be taking my measurement from. So yeah, cut away 4 inches and start taking your measurement from there. So guys, now on this line here, I'm going to I'm going to measure my round chest measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add 1.5 inches seam allowance. Yeah, I hope we got that. Then, still taking note of my 4 inches, I'm going to mark 10 inches, which is my bust line, 13 inches, which is under bust, and 16 inches, which is my waist length or half length. Then guys, on the bust line, you can see I'm marking my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm adding 1.5 inches seam allowance. On the under bust line also, I've marked my under bust, round under bust divided by 10, add your seam allowance. Then on the waist also, I've added my waist circumference divided by 4, and again 1.5 inches seam allowance. So guys, I'm just going to connect everything together like so. Then guys, from this chest line here, I'm going to come down by 3.5 inches for my armhole, and I'm just going to connect them like so, and make a little curve here. So guys, from that chest line, come down by 3.5 inches, make your little curve for your armhole, and connect to the rest of the measurements. This is very easy to do. Then guys, I'm basically done with this front pattern, and I'm just going to cut this out. So guys, just like we did for the lower parts, I'm going to be using this front half length to cut the back half length also. The only difference again is going to be the zipper. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see, I'm folding the remainder of my fabric in preparation to cut the back half length. So now, like I said earlier, I'm going to place the front half length on the back half length. Then don't forget to add your zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inches on that folded part, the center back. Yeah, then I'm just going to trace out the pattern of this front pattern. Yeah, then once I cut this out, the next thing is to slit open the back pattern. Then don't forget to make your zipper notches so you know where your zip is going to stop at when you are sewing. So guys, we have the front piece and the back pieces. Yeah, the back pieces are going to be having 2. This is for the upper part of this dress, the half length. Yeah, so now I'm just going to keep the back piece aside. So now guys, this is the front piece. Let's work with the front piece. So guys, don't forget that opening on the half length. So from the middle, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inches from the middle of the front piece. Come in by 1.5 inches. Then vertically, you come up by 1 inch. Then I'm just going to connect this to the measurement I made earlier. You can see this little curve. Then I'm going to cut this out. So guys, after cutting this out, I realized that I'm still going to sew in the half length of this. We are still going to be taking some in, which is going to make our opening very small. So I'm just simply going to increase the the length of this opening, not the wideness, the length now. So yeah, instead of 1.5 inches guys, I'm just going to add ½ inch to this. You can see, so when you want to cut your opening, make it 2 inches long. Yeah, so I hope you got this. You can see it's much longer now. Yeah, so now guys, the next thing would be to use a bias or the same material to tape this little opening. You want to make it neat, so you want to cover it. So I'm going to, you can see I'm taking the length. I have about 7 inches in length of that opening, so I'm just going to cut out the same material. You can make use of a bias of this color of the color of the fabric you're using, but for me, I'll just like to use the same material. So guys, on the right side of this fabric, you can see I'm going to sew on the opening like this with this bias strip that I've cut. Make it, if you want to use the material, you can make it 1.5 inches wide. So guys, after sewing this on the right side of the upper part of this dress, I'm going to just go ahead to create notches on the bias that I've sewn down so it can relax. So guys, the next thing to cover this up, I'm going to be ironing this to the wrong side. I'm going to be ironing the bias to the wrong side using a hemming gum. So what the hemming gum will do is to make it, you know, slip like so. So I'm just going to, you see, I've gone ahead to iron this down. So this is what it looks like. It's going to make it look very flat. So that's what the hemming gum would do to your fabric, just as the name implies, hemming gum. So yeah guys, the next thing now is to tape the chest area, you know, the off shoulder area. So guys, again, make a bias strip, or you know, use a bias. So what I'm doing now is to create a facing for the upper part of my, you know, half length dress. So guys, sew this again on the right side. As you can see, I've sewn this on the right side. Now guys, don't be mistaken, this is the upper part of this dress, the chest area. So guys, after sewing this on the right side, I'm going to turn this again to the wrong side, and just like I did for that little opening, I'm going to use a hemming gum, you know, to iron down that facing to the wrong side of this dress. So as you can see, it's looking very neat already. Those water stains are from the iron. So guys, now the next thing, let's work on the skirt part of the front, you know, the front of this dress. Now this is the lower part, this is the skirt part. So guys, for the waist, I'm trying to tape the waist using a bias, you know, just like I did for that chest line and that opening. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to use my bias to, you know, create a facing. Now guys, the next thing is to attach the half length, that's the upper part, to the lower part of the skirt. After you must have, you know, made the waistline neat by, you know, sewing a facing to it. So guys, I'm going to go ahead now to sew the upper part to the lower part like so. You can see this is very easy to do. Just sew this down by 1/2 inch. So now guys, this is the front part of this skirt. We are almost done with the front part. I'm just going to place this aside. So guys, for the back pieces also, this is very simple. I'm going to sew down the upper part of the back of this dress to the lower part like so. Sew the upper part left side to left side, then the other side also right side to right side. So as you can see, I'm just arranging all the 4 pieces together, and I'm going to be joining them in the middle by 1/2 inch like so. Here I'm just going to go ahead to sew this down by 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing to the other side. So yeah guys, this is it. This is what they look like. Now instead of 4 pieces, we have 2 pieces for the back, you know, dress. So now guys, just like I did for the front piece, the chest area, I'm going to go ahead now to tape the upper parts, you know, the chest area of the back pieces. I'm going to use a bias to make it neat. You can make use of a bias, you know, or the same material also. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is come in by 1.5 inches on the waist area, that zipper area. Come in by 1.5 inches and connect to the upper part and lower part of this dress. So guys, why I'm doing this is to avoid a zip bulge. You know, just come in by 1.5 inches, connect to the upper part and blend to the lower part also, and cut it out. So yeah, you have this, you can see this little opening at the back here. So this is to avoid bulging of the zip when you are joining your zip. So guys, this is what the back looks like. So now guys, the next thing, now I'm going to mark 7 inches from my waist area on the back. So guys, that is where my zip is going to stop. You can see the zip I'm using, and I'm using my safety pin or office pin to hold the 2 pieces together. So guys, don't forget the back is going to have a slit. So now from that part the zipper is going to stop. I've just gone ahead to mark my zipper allowance remainder. Yeah, so I'm going to mark this also upwards, so I'll know how much zipper allowance I have. So guys, the next thing now is to know where my slit is going to stop. So guys, from the end of this dress, you can see from the new line, come up by 1.5 inches, which is your seam allowance. Then from that point, come up again by 11 inches, which is your slit. So guys, I'm going to be sewing from this zipper stop to this other point here. these 2 points, yes, that's what I'm going to be sewing. So the remainder will be my slits allowance. Yeah, this point I've held down, that's where I'm going to be sewing to. So yeah guys, that is simply it for the back. Let me go ahead to sew this now. So guys, yeah, I've gone ahead to sew down that middle part, leaving just my zipper allowance and the slit on this back part. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to take this to the sewing machine to fix my zipper to the zipper allowance I created earlier. Then guys, don't forget to also remove that little 1.5 inches on the waistline on the back to avoid your to prevent your zip from bulging. So yeah guys, this is what it looks like. I've gone ahead to iron this, so you can see our back piece is coming together already. This is what the inside looks like also. So guys, the next thing now is to join the front piece and the back piece together. So guys, my round chest, make sure to take your round chest measurement and make sure this is very tight. You don't want that point to be loosed. So guys, I'm gonna add to mark my round chest divided by 2, and I added 1.5 inches seam allowance. So guys, the remainder of the allowance, you can see this is 5 inches. I'm going to slit it at both ends by marking 2.5 inches on the right side, and I'll connect this to my armhole. I'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll mark 2.5 inches. Then for my round chest, I should have about 12 inches now. 10 inches, I should have about 11.5 or 12 inches. 10 inches for my round chest, and the remainder for the seam allowance. And I'm just going to cut this out like so. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to start taking my vertical measurements. So don't forget that 4 you're going to subtract. I'm going to mark, starting from that 4, I'm going to mark 10 inches, 13 inches, and 16 inches, which is my half length. 10 inches is my bust line. 13 inches my under bust line, 16 inches my half length or waist length. So guys, what I want to tell you is that because this is a stretchy fabric, and this dress is like a bodycon dress, so I'm not going to be using my actual measurement. So guys, my bust is 34 inches. I'm going to subtract 2 from it, so now I have 32 inches. So guys, what I marked here, I marked 32 inches divided by 2. That is what I marked on my bust line. The same thing for my under bust. I'm going to subtract from it just 2 inches, so that this dress can be very firm on my body. If you don't want it to be too tight on you, you can use your actual measurement, but for me it's because this material is stretchy. Yeah, so guys, I've gone ahead to take my measurements, my bust measurements, my under bust measurements, my waist measurements. Yeah, so just take your measurements on both sides. So this is my waist measurement I'm taking right now. So guys, the next thing is to take the hip measurement. So from the waist measurements, from the waistline rather, I'm going to come down by 7 inches on both sides. Then on those marks, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 2. Then like I said again, my hip circumference is 40. I subtracted 2, so I have 38 inches. So guys, what I marked here is 19. Remember, you're going to divide your measurement by 2 for the front and the back. So yeah, I'm gonna add to mark 19 inches. So I'm just going to connect this to the former measurement I made earlier. So guys, the next thing now is to connect this all the way down. Just make a straight line till the end of the dress like so. So guys, I'm going to use my pins to hold down the front piece to the back piece, especially on the waist area. So guys, when you are sewing, you want to make sure that those joinings, those parts that have joinings, are well aligned. So yeah guys, this is what it looks like. I've gone ahead to join the front piece to the back piece, and you can see we are almost done with our dress. So guys, the next thing now is to add sleeves to the dress. So guys, for the sleeves, you can see I'm gonna ahead to cut both sleeves for the right and the left. So now I just want to show you the length of the sleeve. You can see this is 14 inches, so I want my sleeve to be 10 inches. The 4 inches is for seam allowance, for the elastic casings. Then the wideness, guys, this is about 38 inches. You can see my sleeves are 38 inches long and 38 inches wide and 14 inches long. So yeah guys, I'm just going to place both sleeves like so. You can see I folded them into 2 equal parts. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to take measurement of what I have on one part of the armhole. You can see I have 5.5 inches, which is okay by me. So guys, before I cut out the shape of this armhole on my sleeves, I'm going to make sure I leave 1.5 inches above on my sleeve. This is for, you know, seam allowance for the elastic casing. Then by the side also, I'm going to leave 1 inch, which is also for my sewing allowance. Then you can see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting out the shape of my armhole on the sleeve, on those parts that are opened, not the other part that is folded. So yeah guys, this is what it looks like. You can see this is very simple to do. So guys, the next thing is to create my elastic casing on the upper part and the lower part of both sleeves. I'll just fold this into 2 and, you know, sew down on the sewing machine. I'll do the same thing to the other end, and I'll do this for both sleeves. You can see, so this is what they look like. So guys, the next thing is to fix in my elastic. My elastic is 14 inches long, you know, just to be on the safer side. I used 14 inches, and I'm going to insert the elastic into the elastic casing I've created using a safety pin. Yeah, so guys, the first one I'm going to be doing is the upper parts. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. So once I'm done, you can see I'm just drawing this to see if this will fit, and as you can see, it's definitely going to fit. So guys, the way we are going to place the elastic casing of the upper part and the lower part of the sleeves are very much different. So guys, after fixing your elastic into the elastic casing, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine to stitch down on both ends. You can see I did the same thing to the other sleeve, and as you can see, my elastic casing is about 11 inches long. So yeah, this is what they look like. Just make sure to stitch down, double stitch, triple stitch on both ends so your elastic can be in place. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to also fix my elastic into the elastic casing I've created on the lower part of the sleeve. Now the elastic for the lower parts, I used 11 inches. Yeah, anything from 10 inches, that is what you are going to use. So just like I did for the upper part, I'm going to use my office pin, you know, to fix in the elastic to the lower part of the sleeve. So guys, I'm going to turn this to the wrong side after fixing in the elastic, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now, still holding the elastic in place. I'm going to sew this down by 1/2 inch from one end to another, like so. Don't forget the 1 inch we left on the sleeve earlier for seam allowance. So guys, I'm gonna add to do the same thing for, you know, both sleeves, and this is what they look like. You can see that it fits on my arms. So guys, now the next thing is to attach to the body of the dress. So I'm going to open up the armhole like this. You can see I'll just place them on the armhole of the dress, and I'm going to go ahead to sew this down. So when sewing, just make sure that, you know, those parts that are joined, that have joinings, are well aligned. So guys, we've come to the end of our tutorial. Oh my god, that was a whole lot. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section down below. So guys, the last thing is to use my hemming gum, you know, to hem the lower part, the hem of this dress, and also that zipper allowance parts. So instead of sewing, just go ahead to use your hemming gum to do this. So guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to see you all in the next video. Bye.